Working a year at Koenigsegg is like doing 5 years' worth of work anywhere else. The intensity, the responsibility, it's a transformative experience. But what if I told you there's a car factory so secretive that even its own history was hidden from the world for more than 2 decades? It's not in Germany, not in Japan. It's tucked inside a former Swedish fighter jet hangar, and it belongs to Koenigsegg. We're pretty confident in what we do and what our cars can achieve, say those behind the scenes. But this story isn't about horsepower or luxury. It's about a discovery, one hidden behind a sealed vault, and why it could rewrite everything we thought we knew about the brand. Strap in. What they found in Koenigsegg's factory will leave you speechless. The fortress in the forest hidden, deep in the pine-draped forests of southern Sweden, just outside the quiet town of Ängelholm, lies a structure frozen in time. At first glance, it looks like a Cold War relic, massive concrete slabs, rusted steel doors, and the eerie silence of nature reclaiming what once buzzed with military life. This is no ordinary building, it's the Koenigsegg factory, one of the world's most secretive and advanced automotive laboratories. Inside, the air is thick with focus. You hear only the faint whir of machines and the careful steps of master engineers. The scent of carbon fiber, engine oil, and polished metal hangs in the air. Here, dreams are carved into reality, not in the spotlight, but in secrecy. No glass showrooms, no public tours. Just a sanctum where every detail is refined away from prying eyes. Visitors are rare. Cameras banned. The result is more than mystery, it's mythology. For nearly 20 years, Koenigsegg's factory has defied the modern automotive playbook. Instead of chasing attention, they've built a cult of exclusivity and mystique, the Ghost Squadron legacy. Each Koenigsegg bears a ghostly insignia, a tribute to the Ghost Squadron once stationed here. This elite Swedish Air Force unit trained in stealth, vanishing from radar as if by magic. Their fighter jets were masterpieces of speed and agility. Christian von Koenigsegg, the company's visionary founder, saw in them a mirror of his own ambitions, to master raw power with precise control. The Ghost badge isn't just branding, it's a vow. The factory itself still reflects its military past. Reinforced walls, blast-proof doors, maze-like corridors. Some areas remain untouched since the Air Force days. Dusty rooms, frozen equipment, and rumors of hidden prototypes too advanced for public eyes. The fire that nearly erased everything. In February 2003, disaster struck. An electrical fault sparked a fire in Koenigsegg's original workshop, a charming but outdated thatched roof facility. Within minutes, flames engulfed the roof. Fire alarms barely worked. There were no sprinklers. Engineers rushed to save what they could, prototypes, equipment, and crucial documents. Despite heroic efforts, the loss was immense. Decades of sketches, blueprints, and intellectual property went up in smoke. But not everything was lost. A few metal crates containing experimental parts and documents had been moved to the new facility in Ängelholm, stored in an unused bay beneath the main hangar. Scorched but sealed, their contents survived, forgotten under layers of steel and concrete for years, until fate brought them back. Resurrection through carbon. Instead of collapsing, Koenigsegg doubled down. They didn't just rebuild, they redefined automotive engineering. Carbon fiber, once an exotic luxury, became their standard. Each monocoque chassis was hand-laid, engineered for strength and minimal weight. They ditched heavy alloys for carbon fiber wheels, sculpted every aerodynamic feature through wind tunnel testing, and built legends, the CCX, CCXR, Agera, Jesco, and Regera. But one mystery persisted. Why did so many of Koenigsegg's groundbreaking patents get filed after the technologies had already appeared on their cars? The answer, it turns out, was buried in those crates, forgotten relics that contained the seeds of their future. The Camless revolution. In 2016, Koenigsegg stunned the world with FreeValve, a camless engine system that replaced the traditional camshaft with software-controlled actuators. Each valve could now operate independently, optimizing efficiency, power, and emissions in real time. The media called it revolutionary. But insiders knew it wasn't new. Engineers recalled miniature prototypes of the Camless system from years earlier, lab-scale rigs quietly validating what would later become free-valve. Why the delay? Why keep it secret? The truth was lost until it was found. Again. The Jesco Inferno, June 15, 2024. The streets of Athens were alive with hypercar hysteria during the 6-6 Europe tour. Among them, the Koenigsegg Jesco Neue Edition, a carbon fiber masterpiece with gold leaf detailing, stood out like a spacecraft among cars. Then, disaster. Without warning, flames burst from the rear. Within moments, the Jesco was engulfed. Miraculously, the driver and passenger escaped unharmed. Initial investigations ruled out fuel and oil systems, but a microscopic hydraulic leak had sprayed flammable fluid onto superheated components, sparking the blaze. The culprit, a failed hose tied to the Jesco's complex active aerodynamics and suspension system. Koenigsegg reacted with integrity and speed. A global do-not-drive order halted production and forensic inspections of every Jesco in existence. They even wrote a new emergency software to detect and shut down hydraulic pressure loss in real time. And most impressively, they promised to replace the destroyed Jesco at no cost, an unheard-of move in the hypercar world. The hidden room behind the Regira wall. In early 2025, as Koenigsegg prepared to expand Regira production, construction workers uncovered a hidden steel hatch sealed behind a wall never listed in blueprints. Inside, a room frozen in time, crates, components, documents, and at the center of it all, Camless engine prototypes older than free-valve's public debut. Some were rudimentary, others advanced. Valve assemblies, unknown ECUs, and engine designs that never made it into production. Alongside them were internal memos suggesting that Koenigsegg had been developing this technology far earlier than anyone realized, possibly even before the fire that nearly destroyed everything. According to internal memos uncovered alongside the parts, these early prototypes were built between 2003 and 2006, right after the devastating fire at the original Margaret facility. The documents detailed test results, component failures, and calibration logs far more advanced than anyone had previously realized. There were even letters suggesting that Koenigsegg had quietly pursued Camless technology long before the free-valve brand was officially introduced. Some memos hinted that Christian von Koenigsegg himself had decided to keep these breakthroughs hidden, not out of secrecy for secrecy's sake, but because the world simply wasn't ready. The parts were too experimental, the technology too fragile, and the risk of intellectual theft too high. So instead, they were sealed away, forgotten, preserved. As engineers now pore over these long-lost designs, they're uncovering principles that still hold relevance today. In some cases, the rediscovered parts have even solved lingering issues in modern systems, offering insights that were seemingly lost to time. One engineer described it as being handed a blueprint from the future by our own past selves. It's a revelation that reframes everything we thought we knew about Koenigsegg. The secrecy wasn't just about hype or mystique. It was protection, preservation, patience. The factory in Ängelholm isn't just a workshop. It's a vault of ambition, a shrine to forgotten engineering, and now a living museum of innovation decades ahead of its time. In an age where most companies chase headlines and quarterly gains, Koenigsegg chose the long game. They buried their treasures, waited for the right tools, the right minds, and the right moment to bring them back to life. And now, as those secrets come to light, we're beginning to see the full picture, not just of a car company, but of a philosophy. One that values precision over pace, substance over spectacle, and legacy over limelight. The ghosts of the past weren't haunting Koenigsegg's halls, they were guiding it. And if these rediscovered crates are any indication, the future of the hypercar may not lie in what's next, but in what's been waiting all along. Now, with these artifacts resurfacing, Koenigsegg is reportedly planning something unprecedented. Not a product launch, not a press conference, but a retrospective. Whispers suggest the company may unveil a special exhibition, a blend of old and new, where early camless valve prototypes sit beside the latest free-valve engines, and 20-year-old carbon composites are displayed alongside present-day monocoques. It won't be just for show, it'll be a statement a message to the world that true innovation isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent, locked in a crate, waiting. This revelation is already sparking renewed interest in Koenigsegg's early models. Collectors are reassessing their value, not just as supercars, but as engineering milestones. Even the original CC8S, once considered a humble beginning, now appears to be the visible tip of a much deeper iceberg. Meanwhile, other automakers are taking notice. Engineers at rival firms are reportedly combing through patents and public filings, searching for clues they may have overlooked. Because if Koenigsegg was operating at this level 2 decades ago, what else might still be hidden?